Well, right now, let's get into an interview regarding Invest in Africa. I'm now joined by a lady known as Wangechi Muriuki, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Invest Africa. Let's begin with, what does Invest Africa do, really?
Thank you very much. Invest in Africa is a private sector initiative which brings together leading local companies across different sectors who work together to develop local enterprise and to also give support to Kenya.
So looking at Invest in Africa, I know there is a push to get young people to sort of get incentives and also training of entrepreneurs. Just tell us more about this.
Okay, our flagship product for Invest in Africa is actually an online business community, and we say that this is Kenya's first online business portal that links together local enterprises, that's SMEs, be they youth, be they women, regardless of the sector which they operate in. It links them to big companies and multinationals that are also within the portal. And the purpose of the linkage is to provide better access to opportunities, to create linkages for training, for upskilling SMEs, for access to finance, so that we can make working together easier. That is what Invest in Africa is trying to do.
All right. Yes. So Invest in Africa, how do they run the operations? How are you funded? How big is the budget, really?
I would not comment about the budget. We are a not-for-profit initiative.
All right.
But when we say we work together, it means that we are partnering with other organizations that support our work. In reaching out to develop local enterprise, we are partnering globally with Equity Bank, with EY, with Tallow Oil, with Clyde & Co., a company in the UK, bringing together our efforts to pool resources to enable our work. So we are working towards developing the first online portal, which I said is a marketplace. So all these companies that are coming together will support the portal by buying in the portal. And we are going to have SMEs registered on the portal. And the benefit for the SMEs is that they will be registered on the portal, they will raise their profile on the portal, they'll be able to access opportunities through tenders. They will gain capacity building from skills and from the linkages to finance that we want to offer to the SMEs through our partners.
Interesting. So how do they get on board on this system, really? How much does it cost perhaps an aspiring entrepreneur to join?
We are going to be charging a very minimal fee for SMEs.
All right.
Like I said, what does it take for an SME? We are trying to profile our local companies. We want to encourage them to do business with big companies. So we will offer some primary due diligence, validation of the SMEs to ensure that the primary criteria and the standards required to do business with big companies are taken care of. So there will be a set of requirements, documents that they must submit to be registered onto the portal, and a very minimal fee for the SMEs.
Although you've not told us the fee, but let's move on.
Yes.
How many SMEs are you currently having in the portal?
Like I said, today we conducted the launch.
Today was the launch. How many are you targeting? Sorry, let me rephrase.
Yes. We are targeting about 1,000 SMEs to have joined the platform by the end of this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And looking at the SMEs, why the SME sector?
Why the SME sector? That's a very good question. Everybody is focusing on SMEs. Almost everyone is focusing on SMEs. We know that in Kenya, the SME sector is actually the driver or the engine of the economy. SMEs today are creating about 50% of the jobs that we have in the market. If you look at the GDP contribution from the SME economy, it's close to about 25%. And yet we know that about 70% of SMEs that are created will fail within the first 3 years of inception. Which means that this is a sector that we must pay attention to. During our launch today, we were unveiling the findings of a study that we commissioned, Strathmore Business School, to help us to identify the real challenges of doing business, because that's what Invest in Africa is set out to do, to create more jobs. But for us to do that, we've got to understand what it is that hinders SMEs from doing business or trading with big companies. And the study unveiled very interesting findings.
Maybe you can just give us 2 key findings.
Yes. One of the findings is still the perennial problem of access to finance. Due to high cost of credit, or even lack of understanding of requirements, you know, the levels of financial literacy. The second one that really emerged is the lack of capacity to identify opportunities from the big companies, which brings out the same picture that we're talking about, that the gaps are really huge. And that's what Invest in Africa is trying to do, to narrow the gap.
Many thanks. We're speaking there to Wangechi Muriuki, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Invest in Africa. Thank you for making time.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing a lot from your end.
Thank you.
Now time